Hello, hello. It's been a while. Hi, everybody. It has been a while. So I have been promising since the weekend to come on live and talk to everybody about a few things that have been going on for me in the last, a while. So I thought that I would. Hiya, Sonia. I've just swiped my comments back to find out who'd come on. Right. Facebook Live's changed since the last time I came on live as well, so I'm a little bit like, oh, right, okay, so what am I doing? Right, so how are you doing? Well, there's a few things that have come up for me for the last couple of weeks, and I'll write some posts about them, and I've written like 2 posts, but there's a lot of it, and I want to come on and talk about it as well a little bit, because it's quite significant, and it's made a massive difference to how things are for me and how I'm feeling and how I'm approaching my work and my life and everything. So I'll just see if anyone else is going to jump on live. But for anyone who doesn't know me, hi, I'm Davina. I'm Davina Ketson, the intuitive healer and holistic therapist here, obviously. The page of my name, and I specialise in emotional freedom technique, which is tapping, which is a process of moving emotions through the body, and I also do crystal healing, train aromatherapy, and just generally and all around really interested in whole health, and that is the fact that our body is more than just physical illness. It's actually a whole load of emotions and brain cells and gut health, and how we can't just take one thing and use that and focus on that and try and fix that, because we actually have to take the whole body into consideration, and also the spirit. Yay! So I'm a little bit into spirituality, the spirit, the divine, not necessarily God. There's a very good podcast you can watch with my wonderful friend Michelle B, talking about my sort of journey religiously, but that's somewhere on my page. You can have a little scroll down and listen to that and watch that. It's on YouTube too. So, but this is about emotions. So obviously I work with emotions, I work with emotional health, and my journey for the last 12 months specifically have taken me through quite a massive emotional shift. Let me just put my phone on Do Not Disturb, because the last thing we need is anything else coming through. And while I'm at it, we'll just make the switch to mobile data too, so that I'm not losing my Wi-Fi partway through. So yeah, because this could be a long one. Grab yourself a cuppa and you can watch, because this could be a long one. There's the whole point of coming and talking about this live is to save me a lot of time trying to write posts, because I'd rather talk about it anyway. And if everyone jumps on live, you get to join in and ask questions and let me know what you think as well. So yes, I've been on this journey for 12 months specifically, since, or just a little over now. I started in May last year, through an emotional release, energy healing process, which helped me to sort of process events from my past that were storing energy in my body, and let them go and move on, and suddenly discover my life purpose was not to sit at home creating handmade knitwear, which was what I was doing, but was instead to put my soul work out there as a healer, as a holistic therapist, to explore and learn more about health and the body and energy, all things that have always been of interest to me. I used to play games as a kid or teenager, as a healer. If we played anything like Dungeons and Dragons or fantasy games or stuff like that, I was a healer, and I worked in healthcare as a healthcare assistant in nursing homes, the community, the NHS for nearly 11 years prior to having kids. So the healing nature, the healing side of things, that was what came up for me when I started to really dig into my emotions and release the past and move on and decide, you know, what the hell is it that I want to do with my life. And that process sort of opened like this whole like crazy whirlwind of life. I forget, so sometimes it feels like this has been going on forever. I've been making this shift forever, I've been changing forever, and really it is just 12 months, just over 12 months since I finished going through all that and was like, oh, okay, so I'm going to be a holistic therapist now. I'm not going to be like, you know, not going to run a handmade business, product-based business anymore. Or even what I was going to do was start teaching that. I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to do something completely different, and I'm going to become a holistic therapist. And that's kind of set me up in the air going, oh my God, what does this mean? Going on exploring that, obviously. I'm still here and I'm still doing this, and I'm still doing some trainings, and I've passed some certifications in what I do, and I'm kind of working it all out, running a different kind of business to a handmade product-based business, running like a business that shows more of me, more of my real life, more of my like story, I guess, and my path and my journey, because that is how, as a service-based business, that's how you best reach people, is by sharing your truth and sharing what has happened for you and what's going on for you, and using your story to inspire other people to move on their journey, their path, their life. So I'm always learning about me. I'm always learning about what it is that I love to do, what it is that I do. I absolutely love exploring holistic health, how we are more than just our physical body, how we are affected by our emotions, particularly, obviously, that's so key to what I do. And what has been going on for me over the course of the last week, 2 weeks, yeah, because sort of, it was a little before last week. So last week I went to see my dad. I broke a nail just before I sat down, so I'm just going to sit here and pick my nail off like you do. I just moved my hands under the desk. It's going to bug me. Yeah, I went to see my dad, so it's the first time since February this year that I actually have been to see him, because of, you know, stuff that's been going on this year. He lives in a sheltered housing up in Cumbria, and I'm in Yorkshire in the UK, so it's a bit of a, now I'm going to lose my battery. This is going to be fun. This is what happens when you decide to do an impromptu live. And now I have to work out how to get my phone to stand up without it falling over. We'll see if it'll stay like that. If I disappear, I'll be back. So anyway, yeah, my dad lives in Cumbria and I'm in Yorkshire, and it's the first time that I've been up to see him this year. Aside from February we had a family holiday up in Cumbria. That was the first time we've been this year. So I only went and visited him. I think we were there for 5 days, and I went in to see him for a couple of hours each of the days. But other than that, I've not seen him this year. He's 84. Yeah, he's 84, and it's only 2 years in July since we lost my mum. So it's been quite a difficult year for me to not see him. I usually go every month with one or other of my children, and stay with him for a few days. So it's been quite a dramatic year in that regard, not seeing him. But anyway, we went up to see him, and while I was there, I only had my eldest with me. Normally I have my 5-year-old, my youngest, with me too, and that's very demanding time wise. I don't get to just focus on me and journaling and working and whatever, and I promised myself this time that I would go. We weren't taking the 5-year-old for travelling reasons. It was easier to just take the eldest and be, you know, content on the trains. We have 3 trains to get up there, and I thought I would use the opportunity to just spend some time doing stuff for me that I never get to do. The 11-year-old is quite self-sufficient. She has a animation that she does. She's got YouTube. My dad's got TV, which we don't have here at home. So she gets to explore like CITV and other whatever. I don't even know TV channels. So it gave me lots and lots of time to just think. And for all I do a lot of thinking, I journal every day, and I have a lot of stuff that I've put in my own personal development and mindset and energy stuff for me. I don't actually spend a lot of time thinking. I kind of write it out and get it out and kind of then let it go and do a lot of that. And what came up for me was probably something quite significant. I'm just going to see if I can find this quote that I have somewhere, because it made me realise one or two things. I spent several years just really trying to avoid feeling the shitty feelings that I was feeling because of the shitty life I thought that I'd been dealt. Let's just say that I'd got to the point in my life where I thought that, you know, I was meant to be struggling, I was meant to have a hard time. There's all sorts of reasons for this. It's not necessary for this video. I think most people relate at some point in their life to that feeling where, you know, your life has dealt you this hand of cards and you have to put up with it and you have to do, you know, whatever to get through. And these repeated stories that we tell ourselves, that we hear, that we have, like, it's got to be hard, life's got to be hard, you've got to work hard to have success in life, you've got to work hard to be happy, and you're not actually meant to be happy, life is hard, all these stories that, like, would come to me through just life, really. And then I had sort of other stories related to my upbringing and related to the strict religion that I was brought up in, and how when I left that religion, that meant that I lost God's blessing, and that those stories then as well sitting on top of me, on top of the, like, general cultural stories that we get, that, you know, you've got to work hard to have success and have, like, happiness and things. All of this work I've been doing for myself to sort of uncover all this over the last it's 4 years since I began to decide that I had a choice. I had a choice to either continue being that, like, miserable, the world is horrible, the government hates us, things are never gonna get better for us. And I said I had a choice to change my way of thinking so that I could find a better way to feel. And I've been on that journey for 4 years, and the culmination of that was discovering this energy healing work last year that I went through that made massive changes and helped me realise so much about myself, so much about my past, so much about opening up towards even more possibilities. But this is the but. What I realised last week whilst, like, spending time with myself and thinking, and was that I've spent a lot of time in my life, and this is the case I suspect for a lot of people, hiding and suppressing emotion, because we're often taught to do that. We're often taught as children, we're told not to cry, for whatever reason, girls, we just generally told not to be, like, emotional. If people feel uncomfortable when we cry, I was physically punished as a child. So if I was crying for nothing, then I would give the classic phrase, you know, stop crying or I'll give you something to cry for, because I was unhappy because of something that I'd been told I couldn't do or couldn't have or whatever, because I was being told I had to come in at a particular time, and I would cry about it and stop crying, I'll give you something to cry for. And that threat was enough to got to shut these emotions down. Sent to my room, told off. I would sort of like stifle that down. I would stop feeling those feelings because those feelings are icky. I found other ways to deal with suppressing those feelings, moving through my teen years and into like early adulthood. Found ways to like, you know, suppress those feelings, because the emotional pain always felt worse than any physical pain. And there's lots of ways where I use to suppress those feelings or to hate myself for having those feelings. And this, I think, is true for many people. It's certainly something I try, don't like the word try. I work with my own children. A lot of my past experiences have brought me to this point where I work at being more consciously aware with my own children in the way that I speak to them, treat them, reason with them, help them. I don't always get it right. Sometimes I get it pretty damn wrong and it feels icky, but I'm aware of that and I consciously work at changing the story for them so that when they get to 40, they've not got to undo a fuck ton of shit from their past that we've experienced in our journey. And it's like, you know, you get to feel, you get to have emotions, you get to express those emotions, and you get to love yourself irrespective of what that story is and how other people treat you. You get to love yourself no matter how anyone else treats you. You get to feel those feelings. And sometimes it's hard. It's hard when the first words out of your mouth is, oh, shut up, stop crying, don't do that, don't do this, don't feel that way. Because we feel uncomfortable by their feelings, and that is like, it's one of the hardest things, practicing and working on conscious parenting. It's one of the hardest things sometimes to do, is to just be aware that our words affect our children. So what I've discovered is that through my suppression of my emotions to not feel bad, because I don't want to feel bad, I've actually kind of suppressed feeling good too. So I'm going to read this quote now. I found it. It's from Brené Brown, and she said, "We cannot selectively numb emotions. When we numb the painful emotions, we also numb the positive emotions." And I've shared this quote. I have this quote on a post. I think I've shared it already. If not, then it was one that I'm due to share on Monday. But I think I might have shared it at the start of August. Because I read that and I was like, yeah, that's true. That's really true. Yeah, because it is. You can't selectively suppress emotions. Once you start to numb down your emotions, you're actually numbing them all. I believe that. And I was like, yeah, take that. Last week, I realised just how much, not only have I successfully suppressed feeling bad, feeling hurt, feeling scared, feeling anxious, feeling angry, feeling frustrated, feeling ashamed, feeling guilty. Not only have I successfully suppressed those emotions over the course of, about 20 years, because I felt I back in my 20s, I found feeling happy and feeling good and feeling excited and feeling ready to take on the world and feeling positive and being the eternal optimist. I would irritate my then boyfriend, now husband, because I was like eternally positive and excited about stuff, and he's not naturally an excited person. And I was just really excited about everything. We were going on holiday next week, it's so cool. We're doing this next week, it's so cool. And he'd be like, yeah, all right then. It was like, I was just so eternally excited. So that was like in my 20s. So sometime in the last 20 years that I've successfully managed to not only suppress feeling shit, but also suppress feeling really good and feeling happy and feeling energetic and feeling excited at possibilities and the things that can come up and the things that can happen. And this has set me on this path of working on and exploring how I get to feel good again, how I get to really feel excited again. So what I've discovered is that I can feel excited generally. I'm finding this year well, lots and lots of people are quite terrified. I've spoken to friends who can feel the shift in energy and the consciousness of people realizing that we have so much more potential within us as human beings than maybe generations have led us to believe. And I guess I can feel excited for possibilities in a general sense, and I can feel at peace with like potential futures that could happen, and I'm like, hey, I can feel these things. And that was me thinking, I can feel these things. What I discovered last week is I actually don't feel them on a personal level. I don't feel excited. I'm scared to feel excited because disappointment has become such a thing for me. I've chosen to feel disappointed because things haven't gone my way, because I fed these stories that I wasn't going to be blessed, that I wasn't worth anything, that I wasn't successful at anything. And because I don't want to feel shit, I've managed to not feel good either. And then because like life got so hard, I was like, oh, there's no point in being excited for what we might be able to do next week because we're never going to be able to do it. We don't have the money to do it. We don't have the circumstances to do it. I don't have any childcare. I live miles away from family, so I don't have any childcare. We left all of our religious support and community and whatever, so we don't get that. And I don't, even though I have loads of friends and we home educate, so we have quite a good strong home education community, and I was like, well, I don't deserve to have like the support from people to do, and it's like bullshit stories that I've told myself. So yeah, this idea, and this is what I'm currently exploring and what I am looking forward to taking out into my work with my clients is that whilst we get to let go of the low feeling emotions that where we don't want to feel because they make us feel crap, how we get through them isn't through a process of suppressing them, because when we suppress them, we suppress everything. There is no suppression of, I'm going to squeeze down. Sorry, this is what happens. I'm going to just press it down and press it down. I don't want to feel anxious. I don't want to feel scared. I don't want to feel guilty. So I'm going to press all that down and but I get to feel excited for this, and I get to feel at peace with this, and I get to feel all these good things inside myself. No, that's not how it works. So it works by allowing them their place and acknowledging them and working them through the body, which is what I do through EFT. It allows them their place and allows them to be felt through the body so that you can let them go, because we are high vibrational beings. We are meant to be happy. We are meant to have like good things happen in our lives, and we're not meant to be here on earth suffering and struggling. That's what I believe. If you don't agree with that, then that is absolutely fine. That's your choice as well, to like have your free will to believe what you want to believe. And if you're at peace with that, then that's cool. But if you're like want more in your life, if you want to feel like contentment and excitement and joy, then it is time to think differently and just say, well, is this working for me? Is this giving me like a life that I want, a life that I enjoy? Do I need to escape my life to go and run away to on holiday for a couple of weeks to escape my life? No, we should be building lives that we don't need to escape from. And that's what I do in my self-care programs and my self-care I'm in a free group, free 5-day event in my free group every 3 months. I'm doing it next month in October, which is just like little ways to just where you're nurturing yourself so gently and so consistently that you discover that you deserve it, that you are worthy of these little bits of self-care that you give to yourself every single day, that they become good habits that you don't even really realize that you're doing anymore. And that's one thing I did. I had some of these good habits, some of these things that I show and share with people. I did. Again, in my 20s, when I everything was going really well in my life, I did that, and they didn't consciously think, oh, I have to do this to feel good and I have to do that. It was just part of my life. It was, I got up and I did this and I did that, and they were unconscious habits, but ones that benefited me, ones that kept me healthy in my body and healthy in my mind, more or less. If I knew then what I know now, I'd never have fallen down the path of when things got a little bit different in our lives. When I was pregnant with my first baby and I was asked to go on maternity leave slightly earlier, and then my husband's contract was finished the same week, literally the same day, and that was it. It was like, oh, we're doomed to failure now, and a life of struggle begins. And if I'd have known then what I know now, then, well, I wouldn't actually have the last 10 years, 11 years of experience that I now get to share and now get to explore and go, oh, wow, yeah, you can change your story from anything at any time. You can change your life of struggle and hardship and pain and anxiety and trauma at any time and begin to make steps to feel better. But you have to feel something. And we have this causality where so many of us have worked at suppressing and pushing down how we feel, and then losing the ability to feel anything that feels good too. So that's what I'm working on right now. I've spent nearly 2 weeks now exploring this in my journaling, exploring this and writing lots of stuff every day about how do I go about letting this in, because I'm actually a little bit terrified, if I'm honest, about suddenly allowing myself to feel excited again. When I think about how, and I'm not one to advocate going into the past and practicing feeling things from the past, because I think that there is only this now moment that we can be 100% certain of, if that, of existing. So what can happen in the future is totally open-ended to be absolutely anything, good or bad, if you want to polarize it. And our perception of the past is so skewed often to negative, or what we might label as negative, that we get caught up in those past energies, because our body and our mind is trying to keep us safe from the bad things happening again. And then we often end up with repeated stories, repeated things happening. It's how people end up with going from difficult relationship to difficult relationship to difficult relationship, because that is a process of we draw in the same things because of the energy that we give out. And it's only when we change our energy and we change our mind, and we can only do that for ourselves. We can't do that for somebody else. We can't make somebody else change themselves. We can only change our perception of how we deal with it. If it's a difficult person, we have to change our perception of how we deal with them, or be open to ending or releasing that person from our life. It doesn't have to be forever either. If it's a person situation, it's something that we can always work on ourselves, because we have to work on ourselves to find the way through, because we can get so caught up in wanting to change a situation that's outside of ourselves, a life situation, a job situation, a relationship, that we actually begin to totally neglect our needs and what we need and how we feel. And again, once we start to push all of those icky feelings that we don't want to feel down and away, we actually are pushing away any chance of also finding the good feelings. So yeah, so I'm now at this point of how do I like let all the excitement in and feel all excited and happy. I'm like sitting in this neutral space at the moment where I'm like, I'm aware of all this. I'm aware that I've suppressed not just lots of anxiety and fear. I've done a lot of work of releasing that and letting that go over the course of the last year. And it's like, oh yeah, actually the excitement and the joy and the hope and for the potentials that I get to have in my life now, get to be felt now too. Oh, hold on a minute. Am I ready for that? Am I ready to feel? Am I ready to feel the depth and the intensity of excitement and joy and happiness and peace in my life that I felt the suppression and the anxiety and the worry and the anger? Am I ready to feel these higher feelings to the extent that I felt those lower feelings? If I could possibly feel that good compared to how bad I felt down there, that's actually a little bit scary, and I'm not sure I'm ready for that. So that is like literally what I am working on. Maybe 5-10 minutes, we'll see. So yeah, so I get to experience some more of more emotion and express it and feel it more and allow it to be felt more, and I get to do that using the tools at my disposal because I expect at some point, as I begin to feel more exuberant and more excited and see more potential in my life, that some of those trauma-based feelings will come up again, and some of the anxiety will come up again, and I get to go, oh, hold on a minute, I don't want to feel that. I will just clench down again, and we'll just like try and push the door shut on all those emotions again and not let them through. But you know, yeah, that's kind of got to change. So so working on it. But this is what I do, this is what I'm here to share, this is what I'm here to help you and support you through as well. And that is what most simplest way is through my Nurture Yourself program, which I'm hoping is attached to this video somewhere, but yeah, I don't know, because I'm not actually seeing anything coming up because I've now got that there, so hopefully that's there. So the Nurture Yourself program is a 30-day program to allow you to just tap in a little bit at a time to loving yourself more unconditionally, to tapping into your emotions around how you feel about looking after yourself, about the simple steps to take, which I explore in my free 5-day event as well. Little steps to take more physical care of yourself and more emotional and mental care of yourself by just exploring some of this, because it's all a process. Some of the crazy things that I've journaled about that have made me realize my self-worth issues and my belief in myself issues have come from, why don't I drink enough water? What a crazy thing to journal about. Oh, I just journal about why don't I drink enough water, and the stuff that came up about that, and why am I too, like, why can I not be bothered to like do 30 minutes of exercise? Why do I not go outside of the house when I know it benefits me mentally and physically to get outside of the house? I've had this experience this week. So on Wednesday of this week, I was in meditation Wednesday afternoon, and when I come out of meditation, I felt sick. I'm not sure if that was the meditation or just, I don't know, but I don't usually feel sick after I've been meditating, and I sort of got up and was like, I feel really sick, and went down and made sure it wasn't the food that I'd cooked for lunch. Anyone else feel sick? No, nobody else feels sick, right? It's just me, okay. And my past self would have like moped about that. I had two things planned for the evening, two different calls. One was in a mastermind I'm part of at the moment, our group call for that, and one was a full moon meditation, more meditation. And I was like, you know, I don't want to, the group one especially, where I would be part of the group and be in conversation, and like, oh, I'm just a little bit scared of doing that still. And I was like, oh, just go and like put the bed up and go to bed and just like feel sorry for myself and mope, and you know, we'll watch a bit of Netflix. Been watching She-Ra with the girls, and we'll watch a bit of Netflix, and then I'll feel sorry for myself, and then probably Thursday morning would have hit, and I'd have been like, oh, I just want to stay in bed today and feel sorry for myself. And I got to break that cycle. And just like change, and I'll feel sorry how things went. See, I've dropped my phone. Hi Carol. I can't actually see my comments. And my phone is plugged in because my battery died. And so I can actually see my comments, which doesn't help. So I apologise, but hi Carol. Yes, it's a good one. You'll like this, I think. So I'm just watching myself catch my phone now in the video on the background. So I got to change my story on Wednesday evening, and I got to like sit there and allow myself to feel sick and allow myself to go, how do I deal with this now? How does my now version of myself deal with this stuff that has happened in my past, where I've then gone and like sat and not like felt sorry for myself, and then not done anything that serves me, not anything that helps me out, and then felt like inadequate, not good enough. Oh, I'm a failure because I just lay on the bed feeling sorry for myself, and then I spent all day Thursday feeling sorry for myself, and that would have meant like cancelling plans with friends yesterday, and oh no, because I don't feel well, and also not to mention the energy of when you feel ill and you focus on feeling ill, you actually grow the feeling of feeling ill. I was like, oh well, you know, it could be anything. I feel sick because maybe I need to eat. I ate something. It kind of helped. And yeah, I changed the story. So I then was like, oh, I'll go and I can always say, you know, I don't feel well, and leave the Zoom call early for the mastermind. The meditation that I was to do was like, it was only listening to a meditation. It wasn't being part of it in a group setting. And I get a recording of that as well, so I didn't have to stay for the whole thing. I actually fell asleep because it was like 9 o'clock and I was in bed listening to meditation. I was like, oh, you know, I woke up at like 20 to 10 or something, 9:30, 20 to 10. I was like, oh, that's over. So, but that meant that then, because my evening was spent more just doing something different to what my past self would have done, I then got to wake up at 5 o'clock yesterday morning. I got to journal. I don't dance on a Thursday morning because Thursday should be football day. Hopefully the middle one will be going back to football next week or the week after, so I don't schedule in dancing Thursday morning. So I got to just take it easy through some journaling, wrote more about what I've talked about today, and just be part, like just change the way that my past self would have handled not feeling well on Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, to be like, well, I get to choose differently. So I wake up feeling ill. In fact, I didn't feel ill when I went to sleep Wednesday evening in the end, and then I got to get up and I got to spend some time with friends, went to the park. Even more friends were there than we'd anticipated. I arranged to meet one friend, and there was like half a dozen friends there. It was almost like a normal Thursday. Used to be back in the days, like a year ago now, I think. It's a year we usually meet home education like social meet at our local park on a Thursday, but the cafe at the park shuts in November and doesn't reopen until February. So and then if it's cold and it's wet and we don't meet up at the park, and then the park cafe had opened for like 2 weeks, February ish. There was also a flood here about 2 weeks before the government shut all businesses down at the end of March, and we had like a couple of weeks there, and then we got like shut down. So that was like we didn't meet up with anybody through 2 months, 3 months, and then we've just sort of like been meeting with a couple of friends there at the park. And so, yesterday was like a normal Thursday, and it felt really good to like see more people and talk to more people, more home educating mums, and the kids got to see more people and play, and it was normal, and I got to do that. Whereas past me would have felt so shit on Wednesday afternoon, that she wouldn't have been there yesterday. So this is something that I'm always exploring. I'm always changing on. And I mean, it was like past me. I mean, I'm talking about earlier on this year, past me would probably have just used it as an excuse. Oh, well, I get to stay in bed. I get to go to bed early. I get to just chill. I get watch Netflix, and then I get to just like stay in bed tomorrow and there's pros to doing that. There's like a bonus to doing that, but it's also isn't always necessarily the best thing for feeling better and making progress and choosing a better feelings and a better way of life and making progress. There isn't anything wrong either in taking some time out and some time off. It's about spotting the patterns and the habits and the ways that things go that send you into a spiral of not feeling very good. Because that's often how it happens. It's like, oh yeah, you might be doing yourself the right thing and doing yourself a favour to take a rest when you don't feel well. That might be the right thing to do. But I kind of knew for me on this occasion that I needed to just sit with how I was feeling, and should I stay and be like feel sorry for myself, or do I need to step into the energy of the new person that I've become, and the person who does this for myself. I mean, the things that I was planning to do Wednesday evening were for me. It was very easy for me to turn around and chicken out of being in a group of people. It's very easy for me to chicken out of doing something that actually I know I'll feel good for doing after I've done it. I used to get really anxious. You go to parties, like when in my 20s, I go to parties and I get really, really anxious about going to the party. But I always enjoyed it. I don't think ever when I went to a party, I don't think there's ever a time where I didn't have a good time and didn't enjoy myself. And wasn't extremely great, but the anxiety of going, and it's like I've latched onto that anxiety of going and doing things these days. And then I put off doing it. And each time I make that step forward into doing something that maybe terrifies me a little bit, I actually feel better. And each time I do that, I'm making a step forward into doing more and being more of the person and living more of the life that I want to live, and being more free and choosing to have the freedom of choice and the freedom to choose better. So anyway, gonna go, because I think I have a child who wants the bathroom and won't go on her own, and I want to put lasagna in the oven. So lasagna is my favourite meal, and it needs to go in the oven so that it's ready for lunch. So I'm gonna go. I'd love to know if you watch this, watch it all, go back and watch it at the beginning, because the beginning is the important part, not the very beginning, like the middle bit, Carol, because I'm talking about suppressing emotions and how we can't just suppress. I'll read my quote again. We can't just suppress the negative emotions. If we suppress emotions, we're literally suppressing all of them. And the last couple of weeks I've discovered that I was suppressing more than I thought I was for a long time. and my work of the last year specifically has brought up the ability to feel more and be aware of more, but I'm still not allowing myself to even feel the good emotions, because I got a little bit scared of feeling good too. The quote is from Brené Brown, and she says, "We cannot selectively numb emotions. When we numb the painful emotions, we also numb the positive emotions." And that's sort of like hit me like a wall last week when I realized that I was like not really feeling excited for myself and for things that I could do and things that were happening for me. Lots and lots of things are happening for me. I'm giving away my email course, so I've put the link for hopefully the link for my group program, which is currently running, which you can still join for the next 6 days, I think. My group program is running currently for September. Nurture Yourself self-care program. It's quite gentle, and it's to help you to move more into more unconditional love for yourself and make yourself a priority without neglecting other things that you might have to do in life. But it's also, that program is also available as an email program for £55 and not £155, and you get an email a day for 30 days. It's 33 days because you get an introduction email and you get a thank you email at the end. But you get the gist. So it's an email program. I'm actually giving that program away in a group. I'll write a post and I'll probably pin that one to the top. But I'm giving that email program away to, I think, 2 people in a group that I'm in. I think that's the 14th. And I'm also part of a plant-based summit, which is plant-based eating summit, which is, and I'm not vegetarian, I'm not vegan, that is, but I was invited to join because of my concept, my teachings and my work on intuitive eating and food matters and EFT, using EFT for that. So I have a little video that is going to be part of that. I've got some promotional stuff to do for that as well. So that is the 19th of September. So it's all happening for me this month. And this is why I want to get excited. And I was trying to get excited about all these things, and I was not getting as excited as I really should be, because these are quite awesome things. I've been invited to do some tapping in another group as well that I'm in yesterday. And I need to tune in and tap in myself to the feelings of excitement and like the potential that this gives me to grow my audience through doing these things. So yeah, I'm like, I need to feel more excitement in my life, and I need to explore more of that. So that was the prompt to me realising, hold on a minute, I don't know how to feel excited anymore. So we're working on that. So that is it. I'm going to go. They're the things that are going on for me. There'll be more information coming out for both of them somewhere on the page in the next week or so. Really looking forward to giving away my email program too. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to go and get my lasagna ready. I'm very excited about lasagna. See, I'm not feeling it. I'm gonna go tap into the excitement of lasagna. I'll go and tell my my eldest that we're having lasagna, and then I will I will feed off her excitement because she's a big massive lasagna fan too. Let me just read your comment. Let me just read your comment before I go. I could probably unplug my phone now too. Totally agree with this. So why a depressed person doesn't feel positive. Yeah, exactly, Carol. It is exactly that. Yeah. People who are depressed, and even without, and I think this is part of the issue, isn't it? People are concerned with the use of antidepressants, and I'm not slating the use of antidepressants. If you need them, you should certainly approach that, but there's also other things to take into consideration, and it's been shown that antidepressants don't just suppress the feelings of anxiety and sadness and depression that people feel, but that they also suppress any feeling of feeling excited. Where I've lost my place. Depressed person doesn't feel the positive things, doesn't get buzz, keeps jumping on me stop jumping from the things they used to love. Worked with this conflict for a long time and explained to many being involved with the experience of depression. We often get there because it of anxiety and other negative emotions. Yeah, and that is it. That is exactly it. And it's like, I didn't realise, possibly because my natural inclination to feeling good, to feeling excited, and I never stopped being happy about things that made me feel happy, which is why I'm terrified about feeling it, is because to allow those emotions to actually be felt again is a little bit scary. I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit scared. And I keep writing my journal about, am I ready to like let in the tidal wave of excitement that I know I could potentially feel? Or do we just like open the door a little bit and let a little trickle come in, let the little trickle of excitement and joy and the happiness and hopefulness and all the other good feelings come in. But anyway, yeah, go watch the beginning, Carol, because I just talk a little bit more about how the process has gone. Anyway, I'm going to go and cook my lasagna, and in a way I'm feeling excited about it. So, right, I think it's all done as well. I don't even have to do anything. It's literally been frozen, and I need to layer it up and put it in the oven. Next month, I'm actually going to layer it up and put it in the freezer, laid up, so I only have to take it out of the freezer, let it defrost, and then put it in the oven. That's the plan. So I'm going to go. Right, I'm going to go. Thank you for joining me, Carol, and let me know, anyone watching this on replay, #replay, let me know what you think, what your thoughts are on this, and if you're watching on Instagram or YouTube, because this one's going to go on there, then again, let me know what you think. Any details of how to work with me will be in the comments, and you can drop in, and I've all sorts of options for one-to-one work, right from you can just book an appointment for a cup of coffee chat, and we can talk about what it is maybe that you specifically want help with, or you can book to work with me for like 3 months or 6 months as well. So right, I'm gonna go. Have a lovely Friday and a lovely weekend, and I will speak to you all again soon, and hopefully it won't be so long till I'm live again. There's lots of stuff been working on myself here, so I've not been live for ages, but this one felt like it needed to be a live stream rather than several posts, and then obviously I got to use the live stream elsewhere. So right, anyway, thank you, and I will see you soon.